Hi guys, my name's Jacob and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing pensions. Now, I think we can all agree that at some point in our lives, we would all like to be able to give up work. And to be able to do that, we need a pension, or specifically, we need a private pension. Currently in the UK, if you have 35 years of full national insurance contributions, then you would be eligible for the full state pension, which currently is just over £10,000. But £10,000 is nice, but I think we can all agree that it's probably not enough to live off. Especially, we're going through the cost of living at the moment and everything's going up. So £10,000 really doesn't go that far. So that's why it's so important that you have a good private pension. And that is exactly what we're going to be discussing today. According to the Institute of Fiscal Studies, almost 9 out of 10 people are not contributing enough to their private pension to be able to sustain what they class as a comfortable retirement. Obviously, this is a major warning sign. 9 out of 10 people are not contributing enough. So we need to ask ourselves, what is enough to sustain a comfortable living? According to a study completed by Hargreaves Lansdown, they have come to the conclusion that to sustain a comfortable level of retirement, they believe each individual should have an annual income of approximately £23,000. So this really is the figure that we should all be aiming for. And that £23,000 can be made up, obviously, of your state pension, which is £10,000. And then the other £13,000 is where your private pension should kick in to cover that amount. So how big of a pension pot do we need to be able to cover £13,000 annually from our private pension? Well, Hargreaves and Lansdown have covered this in their study. So if someone started contributing to a pension at 22 years old, they would need to pay £282 a month from the age of 22 all the way to the age of 66. In the study, they have said that they are assuming your overall pension pot from the age of 22 years old will grow 5% annually all the way to when you reach 66 years old. As we said, you'll start at age 22 contributing £282 a month. If you continue to do this for a decade, at 32 years old, you will have an overall pension pot of approximately £35,300. If you continue the strategy and contribute for a further 10 years, you will have an overall pension pot of £74,000. If you continue the strategy, same amount every month with a 5% annual return, at the age of 52, you will have an overall pension pot of £120,000. If you continue it for another 10 years, at the age of 62, you will have an overall pension pot of £175,000. And then just 4 years later, it assumes that at 66 years old, you will cross the threshold of £200,000, which is what they estimate you need to be able to provide yourself the £13,000 a month, which along with the state pension would provide you with an annual income of £23,000. Now, it is never too late to start saving for your pension. I must stress that it is never too late, but it is always better to start as early as you possibly can. Now, obviously, the study completed by Hargreaves Lansdown assumes that you will start contributing to your pension at the age of 22. But as we know, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will start later in life. You might start at 25, you might start at 30. Quite often, it depends on kind of when you settle down into a career that you're actually confident you're going to stay in and, get years under your belt in the career. So the only issue with starting a little later, of course, is the later you start contributing to your pension, the more you're going to have to contribute on a monthly basis. Because if at 22 years old, you need to be contributing approximately £280 a month, then obviously the later you choose to start contributing, the higher that figure is going to go. So For example, if you start saving at 22 years old, you would need £283 approximately as monthly contributions to reach a pension pot of £200,000 by 66 years old. However, if you wait until you are 32 years old, then that £282 figure increases up to £402 a month to achieve the same level of pension pot of £200,000 by the age of 66. If you were to delay it a further 10 years and didn't start contributing till you were 42 years old, then that monthly figure again rises to £615 a month to achieve the same pension pot as the person who started at 22 years old and only contributes £283 a month. And if by some crazy decision that you started contributing at the age of 52 years old, which is only 14 years away from current state pension age, at 52 years old, you would need to contribute on a monthly basis nearly £1,150 a month. Again, to achieve a pot of £200,000. Whereas if you start earlier at 22, you only need to contribute about £283 a month. So you can clearly see the earlier you start contributing to your pension, the much easier it is to save a comfortable level without having to break the bank every month just to get those pension contributions going in so you can comfortably retire at 66. But one of the good things about pensions, especially workplace pensions, is the burden to save is not all on the individual. And what I mean by that is most companies will offer kind of like a matching scheme. So if you put in £200, the company will match that figure and put in £200. Obviously, it depends on the company that you work for, and you will need to check your company's specific pension policy on kind of what they will do for you. But find out, well, the goal today is to find out what your pension, what your company's pension policy is, and max out the contributions so you get the full maximum contribution from your company. So if they'll go up to the level of 5% matching, then you put in 5% and get them to put in 5%. If they'll go up to 10%, put yours up to 10%. The quicker you can start getting the maximum level of contributions from your company, the easier it is to build up that pension pot and eventually reach an age where you have a very comfortable life in retirement. Now, I must stress that everybody's scenario is different, and the figures I've presented today may not relate to you specifically. But if you want to know the figures that you require and the kind of pension pot, like an accurate number of the pension pot that you require, then it's important to go through your outgoings on a monthly basis and calculate the figure that you know that you need to cover every single month. And then you'll be able to work out exactly how big of a pension pot you need to be able to cover those outgoings comfortably and leave you a little left over for extra things so you're not living month to month. Some good questions to ask yourself is, are you planning on retiring with a mortgage, or will you have paid that off by then? Because for most people, their largest outgoing every month is a mortgage or rent payment. So if you're retiring without that, then you potentially will be significantly better off than people who are retiring with, for instance, a mortgage that still has some years left on it. Again, another thing that to consider is, are you retiring with a car payment, such as a car finance payment? Again, if you could pay that off by the time you are retired, that could leave a big buffer. That could leave a lot of surplus because, again, car payments are one of the largest payments that people have on a monthly basis. So those are two payments that, if you can, try and get rid of those before you call it a day and retire, because it will make a huge impact to you on a monthly basis. Now, as we are coming to the end of the video, I would just like to leave you all with a little challenge. By the end of today, if you don't know what you are currently contributing to your workplace pension, then your challenge is to find out. And the second part of the challenge is, once you've found out what you are contributing, see if you could increase that contribution, maybe 1 or 2%. I know times are tough right now, but over a long period of time, 1 or 2% will have such a detrimental impact to your pension pot. You will thank yourself when you reach retirement age. I absolutely promise you. Now, if you've made it this far, I would just like to say thank you. I am a small channel on YouTube. I don't have any subscribers, very few likes. So if you could hit the like button, I'd be incredibly grateful. And if you could hit the subscribe button, again, I would be so, so grateful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.